That's strange. What am I doing wrong now? So my microphone is on. Okay. And USB audio device default. Hello. Hello. This now it's audible. Okay. I don't know what happened. Why are there two USB audio device? Okay. I don't know. Fine. Thanks, Arthur. Thanks for pointing it out. And right. So let's start. So today, what I plan to do is I'm trying to turn my entire test suite, which I have written for this video application, into PEST. Okay, I have been watching the latest conferences which were going on, or I would say the talks, and I was really excited when I looked at the video, and so I thought, why don't we give it a shot? So I have, and this is the um, GitHub repository. I will paste the link below in the description so that you guys can look at it. But I'll show you what is the current status right now. If I do PHP artisan test, it has a few tests. I would say 65 tests are there. And now what I would try to do is implement pest over here. And maybe, I think the registration has the most number of tests in it, so maybe we will handle that and we will try to convert them. So let's get started with it. So get started. How do we install? Requirements is PHP 7.3, which I already have. Okay, which version am I on? I think it's 7.4, right? So anything which is 7.3 plus, you should be able to get it to working. So the first step is obviously install this dependency. Okay. It says there's a problem of PSR autoloading. Okay, let me quickly check that. Inside tests, which file is it? User registration test. Okay, feature user registration test. Why is it complaining? Namespace is correct. Okay, the class name is wrong. User registration. This should be fine. Let me do a composer dump autoload. Yeah, this is fine. So okay, must be the class name which was creating a problem. Right. So pest is installed, and what pest says is there are plugins. If you look at the documentation, there are a lot of plugins available, and if you want to run pest along with Laravel, then this is the best way to do that, which is get the plugin installed. So I'll do that. And then the last thing is do this. Start your GitHub repository. I want to do it, but I think it will open up in Safari if I'm not wrong. And I'm not logged in there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not logged in. Okay, I'll do that later. Get rid of Safari. And so if we have some other projects, maybe, if we have vanilla PHP or, other maybe Symfony kind of projects, you can do this. But I will try to run this and see if it works. Okay. So, guys, can you see this is really amazing because I haven't done anything as of now. Okay. Um, my default tests were previously on PHP unit. That's where, I was doing the entire development. All the 65 tests were passing. And if I want to get started with Pest, the beautiful thing is I don't need to do a lot of code changes. I can install Pest, I can get the dependencies in, my composer is set, and without any code change, I have things in place. Okay. And I think this is a nice starting point. Otherwise, there will be a lot of friction in doing these things on an existing code base. So, fine. Now we have Pest inside our code base. It is running. It is able to execute all the tests. But then what? What's next? Let's look at the user registration test. Okay. So I have how many tests in here? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. I have 11 tests in here. And obviously, I'm not going to convert everyone, but definitely let's see how we can do the basic ones and get the ball rolling. Okay. So write tests. Fine. It takes things from here. So PHP Pest makes it easy to write. This section illustrates how a simple test suit with Pest and what are the conventions. Okay, so it is basically, how do you say, it acknowledges the PHP unit.xml file. So that's where even Laravel is setting up its things. So we have no configuration related problem. Now, those of you who have worked with JavaScript frameworks, this syntax may feel very common. We have it, okay, and the tests are like it has something or it does something. So that kind of flavor is something which we get with Pest, right? Now, how do we then use this? And let's see what the Laravel plugin also gives us, because we did install the Laravel plugin. So Pest install, we have already done it. We can create tests like this. We don't need to do that. Data sets, and then this. Okay. So the first test says that if I want to assert that a page gives me a status code of 200, then I can do get and then assert status 200. Now that's simple. But what about our own first test, which is, let's open it up. I have some registration data, which is an hard coded array. Let me show you. It's an hard coded array, which I'm sending because all my tests are using that. But once I get the data, I am passing it to my user.register route and I'm asserting 201. Fair enough. Let's see how we can get that in here. So it, okay, test pending objects, test call, fine. It is able to recognize that. It says description, right? So test, it allows a user to register. I'm keeping it different right now because I know already one thing, that this syntax will generate a sentence, a description, which is like it allows a user to register, which is similar to what I have. And hence, I am adding a pest here right now. Once the test is ready, I'll remove that. This is something which you don't really need to do. Okay. Now, so this is my closure. So obviously, the syntax, as you can see, is quite different based on what we can see in the documentation. But how do we get to know if we have a post with JSON like we do here? So let me see. Inside vendor, there is pest. Where is that? Yes, it's here. I have plugin. Okay, source. HTTP. Let me see what all methods I have. Can I go to structure? Right, it has all width and everything, following, disable, that's all fine. I have post, and I have post JSON. That's nice. So it's very similar to how things are laid out with the Laravel framework. um, right, visit the given URI with a post request expecting a JSON response. Okay, so it automatically you know understands that, and it returns a test response. All right, so this basically means that it is giving us all the functionalities which are there inside the illuminate testing response class. Let me open that up and you will understand. So inside this, as you can see, I have all the assert c text. All those functions are actually available to us. Even assert JSON, which is the Fluent API, uh, I can use that as well. So that's the beauty. I mean, you don't need to learn too much new things, but still continue with the testing. So without wasting too much time, let's then start writing it out. Okay. So we saw that we have a post JSON function. So why don't we do post JSON URI? So route user dot register. That's the route name, and because it's a post URL, I'll need to pass data, which I will pick up from here. Okay, and the way PEST works, it allows you to chain a lot of things inside it, right, one after the other. So my understanding is I can do assert status 201. Okay, that's fine. Let me do this. I think I should be able to filter to user registration test. Spelling is TION. Yeah. See? Okay. Failed. And faker. Right. It is not getting faker for some reason, obviously. I think I read somewhere that we need to install the plugin. So let's see quickly. Yeah. I need to install this. So quickly get this in place. Comments. I haven't seen. Hey, good afternoon, Tanzim. How are you? Okay, I don't need these two. I'll save my RAM. The MacBook seems to be quite hot because of the streams, so I'll keep things to minimum. Okay. Okay. So the plugin is installed, and how do we use this? Use Faker, and then I have that function. Okay, let's see. So Faker name. Okay, so that means I can actually do Faker name. Oh, that's nice. So I'll change this as well. Faker email. Okay, and now let's run one more time and see if we are able to get ahead. Okay, it's failing, but we have some improvement. It is not able to get a status code of 201, but it rather received 500. Okay, so there is improvement, obviously. Let me see laravel.log. It says no such table uses. Okay, I understand. So this type of error will happen very frequently if you don't have the database seeded for you. Okay, which means for some reason, I think, although inside the class we have the refresh database trait, so it is able to execute those, but for this particular one, it is not able to get the database tables in place. So how do I do? Let me search the documentation, refresh. Example is, does it say refresh database? Do I have something in here? Refresh database, right? Okay, so it says I can use it like this. Okay, I'll basically, what is happening is I do this now. My understanding is I'll be able to write the tests are passing, and this is our fresh test. So as I told you, right, it allows a user to register. This was the first test that I had in my class file, and this one is the last one. Okay, so obviously now what I can do is get rid of this. Okay, and get rid of this as well. Okay, so I can already see that we have one test in place using pest, but then there's one thing. These are like functions which we are calling, and hence I can't have a private function which gives me this array of data, but I do need this data on many other test cases that I have. For example, if I am trying to convert this into pest, I have a test where I get the data, I send it to the route, and I'm asserting that there is a database entry with the email address, and the email verified at is null. So you can see, um, what is going to happen is, again, then we'll have to hard code the data, but then that's not what I want to do. So how can we set things up? Let me see. Setup. Is there something called setup? Setup and tear down. Okay, fine. Hey, by the way, if you don't know, the documentation supports this search shortcut, so you can obviously use it. I'm using Command K to go into the that particular section. So setup, I'll need to do that again. This is very common nowadays. Even Tailwind has this beautiful shortcut, so it saves a lot of time actually. Okay. Setup and tear down, that's the section I was looking for. Okay, it's a function closure. Fair enough. I can run anything on it. As usual, the this variable in the before each function is bound to the current test case object. Okay, so which means I can assign something here, and then inside all the tests, I think I can use that. So let's try that one. Hmm, before each, right? So before each function. Okay, for dollar this user equals like this, and let me see this work. Let us figure that out. Tests are executed and it is passing. Okay, so yes, it does work. So I can have some private properties or things inside which I can refer inside the rest of the test. So yeah, this is good. So what next? Let's look at this one. The second test, I'm saying I want to register a user with verified as null. So registers a user, and let's say verified is null. Okay, this is our test. Quickly to post call. Okay. And how do I assert database? I think it was something there in the Laravel plugin. Let me quickly check. Mm, it has, and then assert database has. Okay, which means, can I chain on to this assert database? Oh, that's weird. Or is it not picking it up? Okay, if I do it and then I can run inside it, but I think if I'm running a closure, it is not available here. By the way, what do we get inside it? That's a little interesting thing to know. Let's see. Test it. Maybe can I dump that and see what is coming up? Curious to know. Test suite tests. Okay, it gets the state. It has the description. Interesting. Data sets. Okay, so if I have any data sets, it will load them up in here. These are the traits. All right. So now I understand what. Okay, the uses are also here. So you can see, because I have added that particular thing over here. Where is it? Uses. So that's also mentioned over here. That's interesting. So right. So this is helpful, which means what I'll have to do is I should get assert database has as a direct function, right? It's inside pest Laravel plugin, right? Fine. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting that my database users table has exactly this. I think I can pretty much copy the entire thing over here. The only difference being it's not post data, but this user. Let's see. I will try to get rid of that test and then run my. Fair enough. So this is working as well. We have successfully, moved two tests from PHP unit to a test thing. But then there is one more thing which I would like to see if we can get into, which is, let's come over here. Expectations. Okay, this is the nice thing about PEST. You can have very how to say clean uh, readable test code. Okay, so for example, I knew that there is a JSON function. Okay, if you pass a JSON to JSON, and then I can pretty much do things like this, which is very similar to what we do with the Fluent API. So first of all, if you want to continue with the Fluent API, what we can actually do is, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'll first pick this up, and then I'll go to the next one and use the Fluent API, because yeah, otherwise it can get confusing. Sorry about that. So let's say we want the response of this thing. Okay, so as I can see, because it is returning me a test response, what I can do is do response equals this. Okay? And if I want to get the JSON output, uh, get content, I think that's the one. Yeah. Okay. Response is here. So then how do I, I'm returning the user. So if you see in here, if I now dd, I get the user, right? So let's just say what I can do is I can also do certain kinds of expectations on that, like I have a response, and on that, first thing is I expect that it's a JSON, and to have count of 1. Okay, how do I know? See, it said if there is two keys, the count is 2. So similarly, I can say I have a count of 1 because I'll show you the code. Registration, user registration controller, it has an invoke method. We do the validation, we create the user, and then we send that user as a key. Okay, so inside this I should have a count of 1, and then it directly used the name. Okay, that's interesting. So what I can do in here is maybe will this be user? I think user and name, because my object here is this, and then inside that I will have the name, and I have to be right. So let's see, this ideally should work. This user name. Let me run the test and see what's happening. Okay, so I can assert in this fashion as well. This is one way of asserting our JSON, although primarily we were testing that the user verified is null, which is inside the database, but I can validate the JSON like this as well. So this is one way where we can test, but then let's look at how we can also use the Fluent API. Okay, so this third test which I have, which is a validation, you can see I am using the Fluent API over here, right? So if I want to test that inside PEST, what I can do is, again, function like this. Okay, and first thing is obviously get this. Okay, we are making the post call with the data which we want, but obviously this time, because I want to raise certain validation errors, what I will do is send an empty array. And so this gives me a test response. I can do assert JSON. Okay, because assert JSON, as I showed you, right, it was inside the test response thing. And in here, obviously, then what I can do is function assertable JSON, $JSON, right? Which now means I can pretty much pick this entire thing and put it here. But what about the status code? Can I also chain that? Let me see. Copy this. Let us get rid of this. And let me run the code and see. Right. So everything is passing again, which means nothing is breaking. Or if I want to, let's just say, let's see whether we are actually able to get the data or not. I will do a dump, confirm what is happening, because everything magically turned green. Yes. So as you can see, the dump is visible and I can pretty much see whatever was coming. So yeah, that's how I can chain things up and still use some of the Fluent API and things which are already present with us. What does it say? It says this is the problem with testing. There's so many and only PHP unit is close enough to Laravel. This is why I dislike Vue and Love livewire. I do not have to think multi languages when coding. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, if you are trying to get into today's programming world, there will be a lot of frameworks and languages and things. But yeah, if you are comfortable with something, stick to it. Like I generally use PHP most of the time, but when there is a need, you have to write JavaScript. JavaScript is something which I always say you can love it, but you or you can hate it, but you can't live without it. So yes, those things will be there. Okay, I've been coding for nearly 40 years. Okay, that's amazing. I'm only coding for last 13 years. So yes, um, yeah, you have much more experience. But yes, I can understand what you feel. There are so many new things coming up every day. Okay, so coming back to our code, um, so we have seen how a normal um, status code update can be done. How can we test things inside our database? Okay, we have seen how we can do the Fluent API tests as well, but there are few other things as well which are important. For example, I know inside one of my tests I have this mail fake, and then I'm trying to check whether you know it sends the email verification or not, or maybe even a little more complex, which is it sends to the correct user. Okay, so I have the registration. It When the registration happens, I am doing this. Now again, as I said, right, you can pretty much use most of the code as is and then convert it inside pest. So I'll just show you. So the function is, let's start with pest, so that sends verification email to the registered user, let's just say. Okay, I think the function name was different in my case. Sends email to registered user, sends verification email. Fine, so I'll just remove the pest. Okay, this is something which I'm trying to test. By the way, there is one cool thing which I'll show you. So I have this written here, but I haven't done anything with this, right? It's a closure where the closure is not present. So if now you run your tests, hmm, that's interesting. Yeah, I need to run it again and let's see. Okay. So it gives you a warning and it doesn't give you a tick for the last one, which means it tells you that one is incomplete. And so I'll show you what it means. That it's there in the documentation somewhere. I was reading about it. Writing tests. I don't know. Test it. Yeah. I am not able to figure out where exactly I read it, but what happens is if it's like a to do for you. If you have not written the entire thing, but the implementation is not written yet, then you can keep it like this, and you will always, whenever you run your test cases, you will see it is on your face that the test is pending. Anyway, so yeah, function. Let's look at what we can pick up from here. So I need to fake the event, the mail. So I'll just add that over here, and let's see. I'll copy this part. Okay, but before that, obviously, what I need to do is run the registration. So copy this. Okay. And why do I need the user over here? Okay, I'm asserting that the user which just got created is getting the email. So maybe I can directly use this and I can simplify this. Okay. So now, if I run this, should this work? Let's see. No. Expected unexpected mail string. This is strange. Okay. Mail fake is here. Oh, my bad. Sorry. It was complaining and I didn't see that. Now will it work? Okay. It is working. This is the function, if I'm not wrong. Right. This one is the incomplete name, but this is the one which we are working right now. So let's see. I mean, it magically happened. So if for some reason I want to verify that the test is working properly, maybe what I can do is I have me, which is a user factory, create mail, and if I now try to run this, will it pass? So the mail was not queued. So I'll show you why I can now confirm that it is working properly. So what happens is user verification email, okay, when it is called, I'm sending the user which just registered, okay, and it was sent here. And when we are inside this mail assert queued, right, we can return whether it is true or false that my mail user is the current user. So if I look for a user in the database with the email address which is the dummy data, then it was passing without any problem. Why? Because we are looking at that exact user. But the moment I changed it, it started complaining. So yes, our tests are kind of passing over here. So this is quite easy. I think I can very quickly turn everything there, but the only thing is it can become very repetitive. So let's see if there is any other thing which I can tackle. And before that, let me see if there are any questions or anything. 40 years, yes. Hello, Bitfumes. Thank you for you community as well as Amitabh's. I do enjoy both of your videos. Oh yes, Bitfumes. I don't think I need to mention anything about the channel. There is so many great content about it. And yesterday, yes, I think yesterday, Sarthak just tweeted that yes, PHP is not dead, and I would agree it is not dead. And he said that if he gets enough likes, he will create a course. So whoever is um, interested in that kind of content, please go to Twitter, follow him, like his content, and I'm sure he will come up with a great course which is going to be very useful for everyone who is trying to justify why they are learning PHP, maybe, right? Thanks, fluffy programmer. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we are already 43 minutes in, and we have generally a sense of how pest can be tackled. I have this event which I think, again, it is going to be very similar, but I'll show you just to ensure I cover certain things. And there is one thing which I'm still not sure. I'll paste that as well. So the test is what it fires user register event. So if you are trying to test certain kinds of events, you can do that. So it fires user register event. Okay, I'm getting. Okay, I don't want to take that call right now. Sorry about that. Fires user register event when on registration. Let's just say this is the name of our test. Okay. And I think most of your code can be pretty much copy pasted. What am I doing over here? I have faked the event. Okay. Now, in the end, I am asserting that this particular event was dispatched. So obviously, if I just use this one line of code, and now if I run the entire suite again, everything is passing. So yeah, that's generally how easy it is for you to convert any of your test suite into pest. Now obviously this was not a 101 of how you work with pest, but I wanted to show you that if you have an existing test suite, and if you're planning to migrate to tests writing in pest framework, right? Okay, this, it seems to be a tongue twister, but yes, if you're planning to write your tests in pest inside your existing application, believe me, it is very easy. You can very easily migrate to that and slowly start converting everything. And the one thing which I'm kind of not still 100% sure why this is happening, but I'll tell you, there is one thing about the framework which is where is it, higher order tests. Okay, so you can do it, then expect something like this. Okay, assert c, which to me is very exciting. So I'll show you how we can do that. So let's just say it registers a user. Okay, so as far as the syntax goes, I can do post JSON. Okay, and there's going to be API slash user slash register this user, maybe assert status. No, can't I do that? I don't know. I think I can. The only thing was, let's see, run this and try to confirm this when not in the object. Okay. This is a bit of a problem. Why? Because I am not able to get this thing, which means I can do this. Right. So yeah, this is something which I'm looking at. How can we get these kind of things inside this API? Because if you can get that into place, it becomes even more simple in terms of language. It reads like it get assert c. You see, that's the thing. Right now what we have inside this is it post and assert inside a closure. But if you can do it like this, it becomes even more simplified. But yeah, that is something which I'm trying to figure out. But other than that, I felt the documentation for the framework is very nice. It is easy to use, and yeah, it definitely warrants you to check this out. So do tell me how you feel about this new framework. That's all that I have for today. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.